Fred here, welcome back to the Gear Obsession channel. Just purchased a light meter. Comes in two pieces. Here's the box. And it is made by Mastech. The serial number is LX1010 and it sells for about $23. And I purchased this so I can better evaluate flashlights when I do my flashlight reviews, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to use this to give you, the viewers, better reviews. I'd like to give you a quick rundown on this item. It comes in two pieces. I sort of already stuck it to my warning sign here. You have the actual meter reading. Let me go ahead and bring this in a little bit for you to see that you would hold and get the reading. And this is the light sensor. It has a cover. I could go ahead and uncover it for you. I mounted it this way so when I pop the cover off it would go down, not fall over this way. So what you want to do is you want to just turn this thing on by switching it on, simply like that, and it should read 0. I'm sorry, it was on hold. Yeah, the on-off button is a multifunction switch. It's on and then also it's hold, so whatever the last reading was, it would just keep it there. So you just switch it on, and since the cover is over the sensor, it should be reading 0, which it does. Now, this does have several scales, so if you start getting into some really bright light, you're going to have to bring this up where it'll turn it into like 10 times what this is saying or 100 times what this is saying by moving the scale switch. I'm going to leave this on 1 time. So whatever this is, it's reading it in pure lux. So for instance, in the room, the lighting right now, I'm going to go ahead and uncover this. I have 71 lux. Now you might not think that's a lot considering I have a 150 watt spotlight all the way across the room. I got a fluorescent light here and I have some other ambient lighting. But lux and lumen is something that's totally different. And the point that I really want to bring out in this video is when you read lumens on flashlights, it's not the whole story. You cannot judge the flashlight on just lumens alone. And the other thing I like to bring out that this is a lux meter, and there's no way to directly convert lux to lumen, lumen to lux. There's some attempts. I was on the internet all day, not all day yesterday, but at least 3-4 hours yesterday, trying to figure it out. There even are some scales on how to do it, and it doesn't work out, and I attempted to try it, and it's not. But what this is going to give you, the lighting here, is basically, like I could have a certain amount of lumen across a room here, and that lumen a certain amount of lumen flashlight will spread, or it could be narrow, and that'll change the amount of lux reading that you're going to get here. Also, that same amount of light, depending on how far away it is from the sensor or closer, is going to change the lux reading that you're going to get. So all these things are going to affect the readings, but what I'm going to use this for is for relative differences between different flashlights. So I've used one as a standard, and then I could show you a comparison. I could also sort of show you the difference between the spot part of the flashlight and the flood area of the flashlight, the difference in the lighting. All this is very important, and I'll show you and I'll demonstrate why here shortly. So that's what it's all about. I'm going to start using this in my reviews. Other things is, this is cheap. It's only $23. It's not quality equipment. I'm not spending an awful lot of money on this, but it's going to get the job done. One other thing to note, angle even the angle of the light coming at the sensor could make a difference. And again, I said distance and things like that. But the temperature of the light, you know, the sensor in here can be, and probably is, more sensitive to certain colors of light than others. But most of the reviews are going to be LED. LED tends to be a very white, consistent light. So I'm usually will compare LED to LED. It'll be the same temperature of light. So it should give a fair comparison. So enough talking. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate how I'm going to use this in my reviews in the future. Okay. Yes, it's pretty dark because I'm about to flash a flashlight out here. First flashlight I want to demonstrate is a Streamlight. It's called the Micro Stream. It's a nice small flashlight rated at 22 lumens. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. The light is 5 feet away. I'm going to try to keep it at a standard, so when I grab another flashlight, let's say a different lumen, I'll go ahead and show you the difference. Now, you can see that there's a bright spot, and then you have your flood area. So for 22 lumens rated, this thing is showing on the luxometer. If I come in here, and it's going to jump around, so we get a sort of average, but somewhere around 240, you know, give or take. This is not an exact science, but we're getting about 240. Now, I'm going to back off a little bit, and I'm going to sort of go off into the flood area of this light. And for flood area, we're looking at about 10 lux. I think I called it the spot lumen. I'm always talking lux when I use this meter, by the way. So we're looking at about 10 lux for the flood, and we're looking at about 240 lux for that spot. I'm going to back off a little bit. So if I grab up another flashlight, we can do a comparison. So let me grab another flashlight, and I could show you the difference between lumens and lux at the same distance, and we could see the relative differences of what they're calling lumens and the differences between these flashlights. So the next flashlight I have here is the Nova Bolt, which I've been testing for a couple of months now and I actually like. This is rated at a maximum output of 107 lumens. But let's see what it is with lux. So the spot part, we'll go ahead and grab the spot and sort of get it on the sensor, and I'll bring you in. And let me go ahead and get it centered. And we're looking at, there we go, about 900 when I get it perfectly centered over that spot. Let me turn this off a second, turn it back on. Maybe more like around, it's hard to hold it steady. I'm going to say more like 750 to 800. I'll tell you, when I first had this on, it was up to 900. But really, I think the average was about 800 when I was playing with this and had it steady in the middle. Again, not an exact science. Now I'm going to go ahead and move over to the flood area of the light. So I'm going to go ahead and show you, like, let me back off here. So I had the spot part. Now I'm going to go ahead and move into the flood area here. And what we're looking at is about 22 lux in that area, which is obviously clear enough to read. You can read the sign there with 22 lux. And if I get that spot back on there, it's going to jump way up there to almost 800. Now let me show you another comparison. This is the Solo Mag light, really tiny light. One I would not recommend. And you could actually adjust the spot. I like adjustable, so I could get that adjusted right on there. And let's see what we're getting for a reading. It's hard to read even with it directly on there, but I'm telling you, I'm getting about a 10. I'm getting about a 7, 9, 8, 10, about a 10 lux on this thing. Oh, 12, maybe. I could get it, you know what? Let me try to get the center part. It's such a dirty light. There we go. I could get it up to 25 almost when it's directly. And then when you spread it out, it has no flood when you got it centered there. And when it's all maxed out, when you have all the capable lumens out of this flashlight, which is 2, and you get it down to a pinpoint, you can get that to about 25, 30. Actually, wow, I could get that up to 30 lux. But then when you want to like try to spread out that light to get some sort of area coverage, you're looking at 1 or 2 lux, which is definitely barely enough to really be functional in any way. Okay, next is my Energizer lantern. It's like a 42 lumen rated. It's one of my favorite. But keep in mind the 42 lumen is 360 degrees all around. So let's get it back here to 5 feet, and we'll bring it in there. And because that light's being spread all the way around, it looks like we're looking at 5 lux. But that 5 lux is because the 42 lumens is being completely spread around even at 360 degrees around this lantern. Now, again, it's I can read the sign. So you really can't read that sign if it's like 2. So if you get something with a flood area of 2 lux, for it's hard to read anything. But for 5 at 5 feet, you can. So I actually, this is my favorite lantern, and again, I've said this before, and I've used this during the blackout, or not the blackout, but the power outage recently because of the hurricane, and that's because the runtime on this thing is incredible. It just runs for days. So I was very happy with it. Actually, if I put it on the lower setting, the lumens or the lux drops down to 3, but we could still read that sign. So I love this thing. I'll bring this back up, get it back up to 5, low is 3, and it goes to this night light and off. So that's how I'm going to use this for testing different flashlights. So real quick, just the flashlights that I was showing you, the Maglite Solo, it's like 2 lumen, and I don't recommend it. It's just not bright enough for much of anything. I bought this because I wanted something to sort of put into my multi-tool case right on the side. There was enough space, and I had it in there for a while until I discovered the Streamlight Micro Stream, which is 22 lumens, which is a lot brighter and still was able to fit in the side. And it also has a clip, which I sort of reversed, so you could even put it on your hat, and that clip keeps it from rolling. So I really like this flashlight. Other flashlights that I demonstrated is the iNova Bolt, which I've been testing, which I haven't done a review on yet, so I don't really want to get into too much detail. But 107 lumen, that'll blind you. Really nice flashlight. I don't want to say any more because I want to do a review on this. So I demonstrated that with rated at 107 lumen. So my point to all of this is, yes, you have a rated lumen, but that lumen is spread out differently with every flashlight. You have a very thin, like I think I reviewed that Gorilla light, and it might be rated at a very high lumen, but it was all in that spot, which you couldn't even focus or change. So other flashlights, they might be rated really high, but they spread it so far you don't really get the bright light that you're looking for. So when I do reviews on these flashlights, I want to be able to show what you're really getting in the flood, what you really are getting in the spot. It's really hard to just judge within the video, so this meter is going to give a better representation for you, the viewer, of what you're really getting. Again, there's no direct comparison between lux and lumen. It's two completely different things. If you want to look on the internet, go ahead. If you want to argue in the comments about it, go ahead. I'm not going to have any part of it. There's even a website where you can put in numbers here and there, and I tried it, and I tried to prove it with some of my flashlights at the distances and everything, and it just doesn't work out. It just doesn't. So I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope I could do a better review for flashlights for you in the future with this really good cheap product, a cheap little light meter for $22. They make some better ones, but I really didn't see a need for a better one. A light meter is good to have, not as a photographer, which you would get a totally different type of light meter, by the way. You would get a lux meter like this, but it's good for if you're going around in an office and you're looking for dark spots and you want to make sure that your office lighting is either compliant with some stupid rule or making sure it's bright enough for your employees or for yourself. Make sure that you have enough light in different areas of your house, your different rooms, your office areas, your labs. If you have computer labs, libraries, conference rooms are tend to be dimmer, and there's certain ratings and everything. This is what the professionals use, and some of them actually will even use the cheap ones. So there you are, 22 bucks. Great way to test out flashlights. See if you're really getting what they're saying when they give you these lumen ratings. So again, thank you very much for joining me here at the Gear Obsession channel. I again really appreciate every viewer, subscriber, and friend. I appreciate the comments and the support, by the way. I've been getting a lot of questions about my back. My back is feeling about 95% right now until I push it. In short, the pain is mostly from a torn disc that got inflamed and pressed on a nerve root, which set an excruciating amount of pain on my back, into my butt, and down my leg. So it comes down to, I take some meds to help me along, and I'm going to be starting some therapy next week, and hopefully it will get me going again, and hopefully get me out to the range and start shooting. So I'm looking forward to that. So again, thank you very much, and I hope you all have a great evening and great weekend.